guys, Through here, welcome to today's video. So guys, in today's video, we're going to be talking about the change and the revolution that's happening right before our own very eyes. This is a video I wasn't planning on making, but just given how things are constantly changing and evolving and going up and going down, I thought it'd be very important to maybe take a little bit of a step back to say, what is it I am doing in my personal life to keep up with the changes that we're seeing around us, the impact of COVID, and all the things that are going to happen from your personal life to your professional lives that has been impacted by this global pandemic that literally every single person on the face of the planet today has been touched by. Not to talk about the companies that have been impacted by this. So I'm going to be sharing with you my three things that I'm looking to do to double down on from both a personal perspective and a professional perspective to ensure that not only do I make it through this, but that I make it through this and also thrive through it. And I think you can, right? Especially when we are faced with a situation like what we're facing today around the world of so many ups and so many downs, so much bad news all over the place. It's kind of tempting to almost give up and throw our hands up in the air and say, I just cannot keep up with this. And if you're feeling that way, I hope you're not. I hope you're not. As a technology professional, we seem to be in one of those fields that has been impacted the less for the most part. All right, because there are some industries that have just been devastated by this. And so to some extent, we are lucky, right? There are people that from anywhere in the world, they can do what they need to do. They can get a PC and they can get on top and they can work. I personally, I have been working remotely. I've been working from my home for many, many years now. And so when I think about the impact of not being able to go to an office or not being able to go to a job or being able to go to a building, it didn't impact me that much. But I know there are thousands and millions of people out there that have been impacted by this. And so I really wanted to share these three things that would be very important to double down on in this post COVID society we live in, right? Because I think one of my friends was talking about they look at timelines in two main phases, right? BC, which was before COVID, or AC, which is after COVID, right? So now we're living in the after COVID phase, in the AC phase. So what are the three things I will be doubling down on to solidify my professional life and also to some extent my personal life within the industry, within the context of technology? So the number one thing I'm looking to double down on, and if you're thinking about this too, is to double down on data. Is to double down on data. And this is very fascinating because in my personal career, I would say the trajectory has always been about making bets. I've always made a bet, right? I look at the landscape and I say, where is the industry going? And based on that, I invest my time in learning the right technologies or learning the right concepts. And one of those bets I made earlier on was around data. And at the time, the big thing was Hadoop. I literally was learning about Hadoop when Hadoop was still on the fringes, right? This was when, the coding was just a nobody. Nobody knew about the coding. Talking about 2012 here, 2013, Hadoop was already available commercially, but not a lot of people knew it. Not a lot of companies had jumped on top. But once I saw it and I saw what it could do to process data, I knew for sure that this is something I want to put my bet on. So I went out, I learned Hadoop, and I just really went into that whole idea of making sense of data. And that has proven to be very successful for me because Hadoop had its boom. Now it's kind of changed a little bit. Some people might say Hadoop has died. I keep saying Hadoop has evolved, right? Hadoop has done what it was supposed to do. It's now evolved. Companies still need data. They're just trying to get that data a different way. But more importantly, the reason why I am sharing that today is because more than ever, companies need more data than ever before, especially with this world of after COVID. Companies are looking to tighten down their budget. They're going to look to tighten down their spend. They want to cut down on expenditure. And the way executives are going to make those decisions is to look at the data. Is to look at the data. And how are they going to get that data? Where are they going to get that data from? Who is going to provide that data to them? And that's where you come in. That's where you come in as a data professional who is savvy with data, who can go out, look for data, get that data, structure that data, and make it available for consumption so that these executives can make the decisions that they need to make. All right. And that decision can go for everything from how much employees do we need to keep, when do we reopen our stores, what products should we even be selling, how do we reduce our cost, how do we better reach our customers without spending a lot of money. There are a lot and lots and lots of questions that organizations are looking to ask and to answer, and the only way they're going to do that is if they have the data that they need in their fingertips. And as a professional, if you know how to work with data, if you are data literate, you literally can secure yourself a good position in today's economy. So I have always been in the field of data, but assuming that I was gonna start from scratch and I didn't know where to go, I would really double down on improving my data literacy, understanding data, how to get data, how to access data, how to structure data, how to get insights from data. It's a big field. All right, and there's room for you if you're looking to get in. So that'll be number one, right? More than ever today, the people that can understand data, they have a strong position and are needed. Companies need you. So double down on that. So that's number one. The number two thing I would look at doubling down on in this society of post COVID, and this might surprise a lot of people out there that are watching this. The number two thing would be to be more proactive and independent or self-reliant. And you might say, but Fru, why would you include something like this in a channel where you talk about technology? What has proactivity got to do with anything? All right. And now, if that's what you're thinking, just hold your horses. I think I'll get there. You know, there are people, and that this doesn't apply to everybody, but there are people that if they don't have that push, if they don't have that motivation, if they don't have somebody looking over their shoulder to say, what are you doing at this time? And did you clock in? Did you not clock in? Can I see your screen? Are you actually working on what you say you're working on? They cannot get anything done. All right. They just will not get anything done. They need that supervision on top of them for them to get something done. All right. And I don't mean to point fingers here, but this kind of goes into the block of people who like going to an office. All right. When you go to an office, there's just that aura. There is just that, you know you're in an office building and people are always watching you. So you turn to do the right thing at the right time without any, supervision because you're in the office. But guess what? Society has turned upside down, and a lot of us are in a position where we don't have the luxury to go to an office building. And your basement might be your office, your living room might be your office, your bedroom, for all we know, could be your office, right? The back of your car could be your office today. And in that case, there's no one really coming after you to say, hey Mary, are you doing what you're supposed to do at this time? Or John, are you doing what you're supposed to do at this time? All right, because you're sitting in your basement, or you're sitting in your living room, and you have to be self motivated to get things done. No one is coming after you, right? The TV is right there by your side. You can just go to a park and do a walk. I mean, you have all this freedom. But guess what? With freedom comes responsibility, and a lot of people are struggling with this. All right, there are people that, for me, I'm a natural. I've done this for many years, working from home, have a routine. I know when to work and when not to work. I can separate those boundaries. But there are people that honestly are coming into this and they don't have those guardrails. They've never done this before. It's kind of annoying to them, and they kind of have to just learn it. All right. And if you ask me this back in March, or February, March, April, I honestly thought that this was a short thing, and in a couple of months we'll all be back to an office. But from the look of things, we might be at this for a while. All right. And so if you're not used to working from home, you probably want to get used to working from home. All right. And so if you don't know how to motivate yourself, how to drive yourself, how to control yourself to get done what you need to get done, and to get off when you need to get off, you might really struggle. And that's a skill. It's a skill, like with anything in life. It's a skill that you can work on, you can master, you can get help if you need it. But that's something that I would really double down on learning and mastering. Because for the foreseeable future, who knows if this whole idea of waking up in the morning and dressing up to go to an office would be a thing of the past, and people of the future would not even know what that was, because they were just born into a world where you just work from home. All right, for some jobs, not for every job, but for some jobs, especially in technology, you can just literally just work from home and still get done what you need to get done. There was a quote. I don't know if this was from Einstein. I believe it's maybe Einstein. And what he said was that a new idea doesn't take root by conquering and defeating all the old ideas, right? A new idea usually take root when all the old ideas just die away and then people are just born into a new normal, into a new reality. And that's how a new idea comes into place. All right. And the reason why I'm sharing that is because people might say, but through this idea that we never will go back to an office is not possible. You cannot convince me on that. All right. Well, the thing is, I don't have to convince you on that. I don't have to convince your friend on that. I don't have to convince your boss on that. What will happen is you're going to have a generation of kids that have been born post COVID, and all they know is mommy and daddy work from home. All right. And they might grow up in the next 3, 5, 10 years, and well, mommy and daddy works from home. They've never gone to an office. And when you try to tell that kid that they should go to an office, that's not their reality. All right. And as time goes by, that new idea of just working from home is a de facto standard will stick. Again, I don't have to convince you on it, but that's just how reality works. All right, so that's the two things we've looked at. Now, what's the third thing I would really pay attention to as a skill set perspective to double down on and to build on in this post COVID world as a tech professional? That third thing would be to double down on understanding value, more specifically, business value. I can't tell you the number of people that I talk with, I coach, I mentor, and all they want to do is just go to school, learn something, learn how to program in Python, learn how to program in Java, learn how to program in C Sharp, or learn how to do a website and just get a job. And when they get a job, they go to that job, the boss is going to tell them, create a web page or create this app or build this solution. They just do it and that's it, right? They just think in terms of technology. But with everything is changing and we're going towards a direction where companies are tightening their pockets, they're tightening their budget, all right? And they're going to make sure that whatever it is they're doing, because they don't have all that money to spend, is something that's going to deliver value. And if you're in business, the way you deliver value is to do something in the business that either brings in money or prevents money from going away. All right. And if you cannot justify what you do as a technology professional within that context of either generating revenue or reducing cost, then you have something to really think about. All right. Every single individual in the technology space is going to have to go through this. If your organization hasn't already gone through it, believe me or not, at some point they're going to go through it. And you don't want them to go through that and to figure out that you are redundant and they don't need you because you're not generating enough value for your business, for the business. All right. Because the reason why they hire you is because they need something done. So I would take this moment to really double down on my skill set, on what I bring to the table to say, how does this translate to generating value for the business? And you should be able to articulate that. I'm not saying you should go out and get an MBA degree and understand all of that stuff, not necessarily. But at the very least, if your job is going to depend on it, if your career is going to depend on this, if the future we're living in is going to depend on this, that's an exercise that everyone should be able to undertake. Can you justify from a business perspective your salary, your job? What are you doing to bring value to the business? And if not, it's not to scare you to say, oh, I'm just kind of, riding under the radar and just, collecting a paycheck and I don't want to ruffle too many feathers here. No, I'm not saying that. All right. What I'm simply saying is it could be an opportunity for you to go out and level up. All right. Maybe you realize that you're not providing that much value. And this might be an opportunity for you to go out and learn a new programming language, to learn about the cloud, to learn about security, to learn about governance, to learn about technical writing, whatever it is that's relevant to you. You can maybe go out and level up on that. All right, especially when working from home, you can work from your 9 to 5, and in the evenings, you switch, go to Udemy, go to YouTube, use a lot of free platforms, learn and level up your skills to justify your business value. And you can also look at it to say, where is my company struggling? Where do they need help? Do they need help with customer service? Do they need help with the app we've developed? All right. And you can look at that and say, how can I provide more value in that context in addition to what I already do? That would be a massive, a massive game changer for your career, especially during these tough times that we're all living in. All right, guys. So I hope that was helpful. I just thought again to make this video. I know we do the technology tips and career advice and inspiration on this channel, but I just wanted to maybe step back a little bit and put this one out there. You know, in the times of change, things change. And that's what people don't maybe necessarily realize. All right, we're going through a lot of change, and what's going to happen is that things are going to change. And if things are changing, it's just a matter of time before that change is going to impact you one way or another. All right, and no one is hoping for that change to be a negative one. We all hope, we all pray, we all wish that that change is a positive change. But as we wish for the positive change, we always have to be prepared to as well and be more proactive. And these three things, if you can double down on them, could really help. Could really help. All right. And then number one, I'll do a quick recap, is focusing on data, becoming more data literate, becoming more data savvy, and just being data competent. All right. The opportunity there is massive. The way companies are going to get through this is by using data. So if you can position yourself in there, you are golden. Number two is becoming more independent and proactive, especially in the world where people are distributed, they're working remote. You need all of that motivation, that drive, because no one is going to run after you to get stuff done. You need it. You need that discipline to get stuff done. So you need to double down on that. All right. It's not something that just comes naturally. Some people, you have to work on your discipline. You have to. If you need to get a coach, but you need to work on that. This is a new reality. And then last but not least is focusing on business value. Is We are far beyond just talking about technology at this point. Ultimately, companies care about two things: revenue and cost. Increasing revenue, reducing costs, that improves the bottom line. And that's what companies care about. And where in there are you helping? All right. If you don't know, figure it out. Figure it out is really, really important. All right, guys. So hopefully this was helpful. I thought I'll put this out there. Did I capture it all? Did I miss something? What are your thoughts on this? I want to hear. I want to hear. These are challenging times. We're all figuring this out. And I hope and I'm wishing for the best for everyone. But if you have other ideas, other thoughts that I might have missed, don't hesitate to jump into the comment section below. Let me know. And as always, this has been Thru. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.